No, I'm saying that if other countries have them, it's a little bit unfair for them not to have some. A ballistic missile is not the same thing as what we're talking about when we talk nuclear. But if Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and they all have some, I would say in relative proportion, I think it's okay. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Iran has a right to defend itself. I never expected it to end with a whimper. Shit's not over yet, man, okay? All eyes right now, like literally everyone, okay? I need your asses seated like a black woman is speaking, because we need to pay attention to what the is going on in the Republican Party. The Republican Party is like a reed, okay? They bend, but they do not break. They are very, very, very good at resolving internal disputes because they are an authoritarian organization. They understand that the will of the people is to be bent into shape to suit their needs. In other words, they're good at politics. But there are limits. And the Republican Party has been so committed to being, Jesus Christ, Zionist, pro-Israel, pro-Greater Israel, anti-Iranian, pro-getting rid of Iran's nuclear material, anti-giving Iran money, like pro-evangelical. There are so many lines along which the Republican Party is going to fracture, is fracturing now. Like, reeds can break, you know, reeds do be bending in the wind, but they can also break, like, if you hit them really hard, I assume. I've never actually tried, but I think you could. Yeah, and not just with the leadership, but with the voter base, and not just with the voter base and the leadership, but also with Israel itself, because Israel itself is filled with lunatic, genocidal ethno-nationalists. So, all eyes on the Republican Party. Are we sat like a black woman is speaking? Yes? Oh yeah, I'll get to the actual details of the memorandum soon, but Trump did in fact sign this treaty at the Palace of Versailles. Just genuinely unbelievable. Yeah. No shot? No. They actually made him do it.
So that was the moment, signed, sealed, but does it deliver? President Trump making the Iran deal official at the Versailles Palace outside of Paris, how he's defending the agreement to those who are skeptical. Good morning, everybody. We've been on this for some time.
Yeah, it's actually at the Palace of Versailles. Yes, yes. Macron W for making this happen. It's so fucking funny that every single person around Trump knew what this meant. Trump didn't because he's an idiot, but nobody could tell Trump because they knew if they did, he would blow up this deal. Like, if anyone around Trump was like, hey, Trump, you know what it means that we're signing this at Versailles, right? And Trump realized it would blow the whole thing up, you know?
Next, I'm Bill Hemmer live in New York City. Hello.
Good morning. I'm Dana Perino, and this is America's News.
You know, we're world champs.
You and me?
Yeah, yeah. Just generally speaking.
Just like the vibe feels like we're all world.
Talk about anything other than what just happened. How is the Republican Party going to sell this to its base?
Champs indeed, but the Knicks are fun, and we'll get more of that to you. The parade is hopping already.
Yes, it is.
And President Trump, he is back in the United States. He signed the memorandum of understanding with Iran last night. The 14-point agreement is designed to end the war, reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and begin formal talks on Iran's nuclear program. And we'll have all of that in a little bit.
So some lawmakers say the deal does not.
I'm 99% sure I understand the irony, but just in case I don't, will you tell us? The Treaty of Versailles after World War I was signed at the Palace in Versailles. The powers that be kind of ganged up on Germany a little bit, and they all wanted to pin the blame on, like, on Germany because it was simpler than assigning blame proportionally to every country involved. So they all kind of, you know, did an elbow drop on Germany, subjected them to a humiliation ritual a little bit, and also forced them into ruinous reparations, which the memorandum of understanding that we have with Iran, despite it not actually being a peace deal, the memorandum is only meant to last 60 days. Despite this being a memorandum that is only meant to extend 60 days, it includes us giving them $300 billion in reparations.
Do enough to hold Tehran accountable. We will see about that right in time. The president pushing back, saying the U.S. maintains its military edge.
And it's a memorandum of understanding. If it doesn't get done in 60 days, that's all right. We go back to bombing. You know, I don't want to do that because it's so good. But we might have to. because we're never going to let them have a nuclear weapon. But they've agreed not to, and you'll see that very clearly in the agreement.
Mark Meredith is at the White House where President...
Where's that money coming from? Are you asking if it's Iran's frozen assets? No. The $300 billion in reparations is in addition to the unfrozen assets. The money's coming from you and me.
Vice President, J.D. Vance, he's going to hold one of those briefings this morning. Hi, Mark.
Dana, good morning to you. He sure will. That'll be in about 2 hours from now. The president arrived back in Washington just before sunrise. He's likely happy to be home, but he is facing an avalanche of criticism from lawmakers in both parties who are not happy with his deal in Iran. The president says this was also about the economy. He posted around 4:30 this morning, "These fools who think I haven't been tough enough on Iran when the stock market just hit a record high and oil prices are tumbling down are either jealous, bad people, or stupid. Make America great again."
Iran has to show change to get the money. Nope. No. We're just giving them $300 billion. We'll go over the memorandum of understanding in a sec.
Now, the deal means an immediate end to the war, an end to the U.S. naval blockade, the development of a reconstruction plan with U.S. and partners, around $300 billion of money going to that, and the U.S. agrees to lift sanctions. The president says if Iran fails to live up to its end of the bargain by developing nuclear weapons, he's more than willing to launch attacks against the country again. Vice President Vance is expected to head to Europe next week to begin the next phase of all this. We'll see if he elaborates his travel plans in today's briefing.
Pay attention. Vance is the one fronting all of this. Trump has to sign the document, but Trump is the one being forced to accept the surrender. Trump is literally signing a second Treaty of Versailles. J.D. Vance, on the other hand, is the one getting to actually run the negotiations, do the press run where he talks about how Israel's being entitled and ungrateful, go to the New York Times and explain the same. J.D. Vance is the one that they're positioning.
But the deal, celebrated by the White House, is generating strong pushback up on Capitol Hill.
Like, if you think about it, everyone has had their opportunity to run the White House except for J.D. Vance, right? Marco Rubio has been the main guy fronting aggression against Cuba and Venezuela. He's been effective in that front. He's also been aggressive against Mexico, though that didn't take off that much from the early days of the administration. Miller had his time in the limelight with ICE. Miller's big wave was ICE in Minneapolis, and leading up to that, the wave of deportations. But that broke him. After that, Miller's been quiet. After Minneapolis, Miller's been quiet. Kristi Noem goes out. Greg Bovino goes out. Like, ICE has been broken, right? And Miller no longer has credibility within the administration because of that. He made them look really bad. He failed too hard. And Hegseth as well. Hegseth with Iran. This is Hegseth's main moment. An actual war. Hegseth is the front runner in this. Everyone has had a chance to direct the White House, to direct Trump, except for J.D. Vance so far. J.D. Vance isn't really known for doing anything in the administration yet, except for that you haven't even said thank you. With Zelensky. That's it. Really, genuinely, like, apart from that, he has not had that. In fact, it's a joke, isn't it? It's a joke to all of us that J.D. Vance is just like a little unwanted runner-up, like a little, turd baby who follows Trump along and does whatever he's told, and no one likes or respects him, and Trump makes fun of him behind his back. That's what, but it seems like now he's finally getting his time in the limelight, and he might actually be doing so in a context which makes him look good, relatively.
Some fear Iran will be more empowered now than ever before.
Here we have with his MOU, it's not even comparable to the Obama deal. It's worse by a lot, by about $300 billion and a bunch of vague language. So I have a real concern as a national security person, and then certainly the cost of this war is being borne by the American citizens.
Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy also saying President Reagan is rolling over in his grave. Iran's nuclear ambitions were not curbed, and that they have learned that threatening the Strait of Hormuz works and will undoubtedly leverage it in the future. Now Iran gets to build its brand new infrastructure under this deal. Senator Cassidy not
Reagan gave Iran weapons. It was like a thing that happened. He illegally gave them weapons. Something Oliver North. Ollie North. You've all seen the bit.
Happy. There are some Republicans, though, that are happy that energy prices should begin to drop. And just today, Dana, AAA announced that gas prices nationally, on average, now below $4 a gallon, just under that. But it's a big difference from where we were just 1 month ago. Dana.
All right, Mark Meredith, thank you.
Sure is. Now, 14 points. Those are the top lines on this agreement here. Going to go through a couple key points. Immediate and permanent ceasefire. That's what they've agreed to.
The deal's a lot worse. We had a good deal with good relations with Iran. We'll take a look at the full text of the memorandum right now to really get a feel for how substantial this defeat is. Here's a chart. You know, it kind of makes things simple. I understand we all have short attention spans. I'm speaking, of course, of myself as well as you guys. If you'd like, you can read over it and just sort of get a feel for some key distinctions between the current memorandum and the JCPOA. Remember, the JCPOA was meant to be an ongoing agreement, whereas the memorandum only applies to a 60-day window, just 60 days. Yeah, it doesn't look that good. So let's take a look at the text of the agreement, huh? From Fox News. But it's the agreement. It's public now. Keep in mind, they hid this from Israel. Israel was not allowed to see the details of the memorandum until after it was confirmed by both sides. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war, by signing this MOU, and their allies in the current war, keep that in mind, by signing this MOU, declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. Remember, AIPAC is like, we need to find out if this deal prevents Israel from responding to local security threats, and undertake from now on not to initiate any war or military operation against each other, and to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions in this paragraph. The U.S. and Islamic Republic of Iran undertake to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity and refrain from interfering in each other's internal affairs. Number 3, the U.S. and Iran commit to negotiating and achieving the final deal in a maximum of 60 days extendable with mutual consent. Number 4, immediately upon signing the MOU, America will begin the removal of its naval blockade and any disturbances or impediments against the Islamic Republic of Iran, and will fully end the blockade within 30 days. During this period, the traffic of vessels will be in proportion to the numbers of pre-war traffic being restored by Iran. America further undertakes to remove its forces from the proximity of Iran within 30 days after the final deal. Upon the signing of this MOU, Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vehicles with no charge for 60 days only from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. The traffic of commercial vessels will immediately start, and, considering the needs for removing the technical and military obstacles and demining by the... I need to read slower. The traffic of commercial vessels will immediately start, and, considering the needs for removing the technical and military obstacles and demining by Iran, will be instated within 30 days. Iran will conduct dialogue with the Sultanate of Oman to define the future administration and maritime services in the Strait, in discussion with other Persian Gulf littoral states in line with the applicable international law and the sovereign rights of coastal states of the Strait of Hormuz. America will undertake with regional partners to develop a definitive, mutually agreed plan with at least $300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of Iran. The mechanism for the implementation of the plan will be finalized as part of the final deal within 60 days. All required licenses, waivers, and permissions needed for the relevant financial transactions will be granted by America. America undertakes to terminate all types of sanctions against Iran. No more sanctions, including the United Nations Security Council resolutions, IAEA Board of Governors resolutions, and all unilateral U.S. sanctions, primary and secondary, in an agreed-upon schedule as part of the final deal. Iran and the U.S. acknowledge the critical importance of the sanctions termination issue above mentioned, and express their intentions to immediately address these issues in the negotiations in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. Iran reaffirms that it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. America and the Islamic Republic of Iran have agreed to resolve the disposition of stockpile enriched material pursuant to a mechanism that will be agreed upon in accordance with the schedule mentioned in paragraph 7, with the minimum methodology to be downblending on-site under the supervision of the IAEA. The two parties also agreed to discuss the issue of enrichment and other mutually agreed matters related to the Islamic Republic of Iran's nuclear needs, based on a satisfactory framework being agreed in a final deal. This is a capitulation. This is all capitulation from the United States. Iran is doing nothing here. Iran already was not building nuclear, did not have like a genuine intention to build a nuclear weapons program, and had rather strategically postured at it as part of their game with Israel. And the Strait of Hormuz was open before the war. This is all surrender from America. It is a surrender. Frankly, Trump should consider himself lucky that Iran didn't demand the official text of the memorandum include the term surrender. America and Iran acknowledge the critical importance of the nuclear issues above mentioned and express their intention to immediately address these issues in the negotiations in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. Pending the final deal, America and Iran agree to maintain the status quo. The Islamic Republic will maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program, and America will not impose any new sanctions and will not deploy additional forces to the region. America undertakes that immediately upon the signing of this MOU and until the termination of sanctions, the Department of Treasury will issue waivers for the export of Iranian crude oil. Man, even before the sanctions get terminated, issue waivers for the export of Iranian crude oil, petroleum products and derivations, and all associated services, including banking transactions, insurances, transportation, etc. America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of Iran upon the implementation of this MOU. America and Iran will mutually agree on the procedures related to the release of these funds during the negotiations. Such funds, whether retained in the original account or transferred, shall be made fully usable for payment to any ultimate beneficiary designated by the Central Bank of the Islamic Republic of Iran. America undertakes to issue all necessary licenses. America and Iran agree an executive mechanism will be established to monitor the successful implementation of the MOU and future compliance for the final deal. The final deal will be endorsed by a binding UN Security Council resolution, which means the whole world will have to sign off on American surrender. Again, this is far worse than Vietnam, genuinely. Nothing America has ever done or not done comes close to this. We failed on every front, and in a desperate effort, we're not even getting the status quo back. Iran is now the regional superpower. The only thing that postures Israel above it is its nukes. That's it. Economically, culturally, politically, Iran runs the fucking game now. They have been given permanent control over 20% of the world's oil and natural gas production. Trump reiterated his commitment to peace, and while it is a fucking tweet, he did call Israel a hindrance to peace. And this is where everyone's eyes need to be right now. The United States is committed to peace, and we encourage everyone in the Middle East region to maintain their commitment to allowing our negotiations to beautifully unfold. Who do you think he's talking to here, Iran or Israel? The markets are loving what is happening with oil prices way down and stocks way up. We expect a complete ceasefire on all fronts, including Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Israel. Very clear. But as good as this is, this will only just provoke Israel to keep going, right? Yes, Israel is probably going to continue to maintain aggression. Again, I show this, but just an hour ago, I guess now at this point, 2 hours ago, Iran threatened to reclose the Strait of Hormuz just right after it had opened because Israel is not withdrawing from Lebanon. Israel has said they are not withdrawing from Lebanon. Israel has already said they will not be agreeing to the terms in the MOU. So if the entire American government is signing this MOU and is on board with it, at least externally, and Israel breaks it and everything goes back to the way that it was. When Trump has admitted we were 4 weeks away from running out of oil, essentially, what do we do? This is the dynamic I'm saying I don't really have a solution to. I don't really know where it's going to go because I can't imagine Israel backing down and I can't imagine America stopping them. Isn't there somebody you forgot to ask? It's funny because under normal circumstances, it actually would be like really bad of us to do this to Israel. Like considering the fact that Israel's nominally our ally, going through back channels to sign an MOU without even showing it to them, even though the MOU applies to them as well, is actually a massive betrayal of Israel. The only reason is like, we have to do this because they're fucking insane, you know? Like, it's under normal circumstances, our behavior here would actually be like really morally reprehensible to Israel, but we have to do it because they are psychopaths and will not agree to anything. Yes, Trump just openly said that Iran should get to have ballistic missiles. Yeah.
So we'll be working on a parallel effort with the Gulf nations to address non-nuclear issues such as the conventional ballistic missiles, which we'll be talking about. And support. I mean, they have to have some because other people have some. They got to have some. Somebody said you shouldn't give them one. I mean, I have guys. I like some of these guys, but I don't think they're smart. Sir, you shouldn't let them have any missile. I said, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to let Saudi Arabia have missiles, but they can't have them? Yes, sir.
This is the shit Hassan Piker be saying that gets him called a terrorist by the UK government.
Work that way, you know? It doesn't work that way. And missiles aren't the problem. Missiles are, they hurt a little location, but they don't blow up the planet.
By the way, J.D. Vance repeated this today.
Help us understand President Trump's shift on his stance for Iran's ballistic missile program. Initially, it was a key objective to dismantle it. Yesterday, he said it would only be fair if they had some, if the countries around Iran also had some. So when and why did that change? And will the final agreement have any restrictions on these missiles?
So we destroyed a substantial number of their ballistic missiles and their ballistic missile launchers themselves. It's not just the bullets, but it's the actual gun. And that's what we were extremely effective at in destroying during the last 3 months of the campaign. All the president said yesterday is that, of course, countries don't give up the right of self-defense. Israel doesn't give up the right of self-defense if Hezbollah fires rockets or drones at Israel. The Iranians don't give up the right of self-defense in their country, but we do expect that as part of the final deal, they are not going to be able to build the kind of missiles that can broadly threaten.
How far we've come. Iran has the right to defend themselves. That's actually this. Iran has the right to defend itself. J.D. Vance incredulously talking to like Smotrich after a visit to Israel. Do you think the state of Iran has a right to exist? The fucking Republican Party is going to start calling Zionists Islamophobes at this rate. Like overnight, everything has changed. Which is a reminder, by the way, that everyone in power already knew that we were correct. Like the underlying political framework we endorse, one in which Iran is treated like a real country that can be negotiated with and not like an insane, like ontological evil that can only be opposed. Vance and everyone in the Republican administration already knew that was correct. Everyone knew that. Everyone already knew that Israel has a right to defend itself. Don't you think Israel has a right to exist was bullshit. Everyone already knew that we were mistreating Iran, and they're just flipping to it now because they have to. We were always right. We were always right too early. And yet, somehow, I just can't imagine Schumer co-signing this. You think Israel would ever try to assassinate Trump over this? I guarantee you there are people there talking about it, though I don't think they're going to do it. But I guarantee you they wish they could.
This way, if it works out, I'm going to take the credit. If it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD. You better be careful, JD. He's going to turn his plane around and get the hell out of here. Yeah, I like that idea. I think it's...
He's so funny.
Yeah. You said in the press conference, you said you don't mind Iran having ballistic missiles. Can you elaborate on that? I want to make sure we understand your position.
No, I'm saying that if other countries have them, it's a little bit unfair for them not to have some. A ballistic missile is not the same thing as what we're talking about when we talk nuclear. But if Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and they all have some, I would say in relative proportion, I think it's okay. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Iran has a right to defend itself. Is this Vance being his own man? No. I mean, it's just the non-ideologically Zionist wing of the Republican Party asserting its power. A Democrat's career would have been ended by saying this. I just don't know where we go from here. I don't know what the Republican Party is supposed to do with its own base. I don't know what Israel is going to do. I don't know what the Democrats are going to do. I have no idea what happens. I have no idea where we go from here. None. I have no clue. It's beyond me. Can we admit it's not anti-Zionism, but anti-Semitism from J.D. Vance to the far right? I don't think J.D. Vance is acting out of anti-Semitism here. I mean, he's probably an anti-Semite incidentally, but I think this is more just factions within the Republican Party understanding that we will literally collapse unless we do something, and the something that has to be done is we have to turn on Israel. No doubt anti-Semites within the Republican Party, like the, Groyper types or whatever, are going to lose their shit loving this. But I think that this isn't being motivated by a sudden turn towards anti-Semitism, rather a sudden turn away from the brink. You see some statements from Chris Murphy that were not terrible if you want a sample of one single Dem in their statements. That's not really a sample, right? I mean, I guess that's a sample of one. No, what I'm interested in is seeing what the Democratic Party does broadly. Because again, I really can't imagine.
I think that fundamentally, if you look at what they're proposing.
Here he is in the Megyn Kelly show. Look at how many coordinated media appearances J.D. Vance is doing in a row where he is the guy advancing the memorandum.
They're proposing.
This could be big. And depending on how the Republican Party handles their own infighting and how the Democrats pivot, it's very possible that this is the 2028 line.
An endless conflict. They want this to go on until every bomb has been dropped or until every Iranian is dead. That is not what the president of the United States wants. What he said is, I said about this to end their nuclear program, to eliminate their ability to threaten their neighbors and project power, and to fundamentally make sure that no future child would have to deal with a terrorist regime with an atomic bomb. That's why the president set out to do this. He feels, and he's right, that he's accomplished that goal, and now we can get to the negotiation to see what are the other benefits that we can get from this, and frankly, what are the benefits the Iranians could get from this if they behave. I just don't think that people...
Oh no, is Vance about to be better than Newsom, like legitimately? I mean, look, I'm already saying I would prefer Vance to Newsom for accelerationist reasons, but if the 2028 line is genuinely a Republican Party trying to break with Israel versus a Democratic Party trying to negotiate some kind of moderate support for Israel, that makes the moral line even more clear than it was before. Again, we'll have to see how the Democrats respond to this, and I really do not know how well the Republicans are going to pull their party towards this position, considering how powerful evangelicals are within their base. But evangelicals are also, on average, like, very stupid. They're cattle. I don't know. I don't believe Vance. Oh, he's a liar, sure. But what he's doing right now is a betrayal of Israel. There's no, like, this is not kayfabe or whatever. This is actually happening. Under, or like through J.D. Vance, the Republican Party is turning its back on Israel. Or at least it's trying to.
Who are criticizing this, one, they're not actually dealing with the reality of what's in it. And number two, they don't have an alternative. If your alternative is just to drop bombs without any clear goal or any clear American interest implicated, then you're not making wise decisions on behalf of the American people. The president is, and that's why we're in this position.
Remarkable. They're going to try to bring back all the people they lost over the Iran war.
Senator, are you okay with Iran having missiles?
You know, I'm hesitating. I'd prefer that they not. I certainly don't want them to have long-distance missiles. I don't want them to have nuclear-armed missiles. I would prefer they didn't. But I don't think that's the key issue here. I think that they have to be able to defend themselves. And I just kind of come back to the big picture here, is that the Middle East countries like this agreement.
You think Iran needs to be able to defend itself?
I do. I think that they have to be able to defend themselves. Otherwise, we turn this into a forever war. You're never going to get them short of boots on the ground of surrendering everything, an unconditional agreement, if you will. But again, what I'm getting at here is this agreement has the support of most of the countries in the Middle East, and I think that's going to give it more of a long-lasting relationship, a long-lasting success as well.
I fucking warned you guys. I fucking warned you. I warned you. I warned you this might happen. What world are you living in? You are living in the world where everyone in power who is not mentally ill already always knew that we were correct. Every statement we made about Israel being insane, warmongering, and having America's interests not only not in heart, but like openly antagonistic to them, everyone already knew that. It was just a matter of how much they could get away with and how much they could kick the can down the road. Everyone already knew we were right. The left. Right again. Everyone knew. Everyone knew this. Everyone in power was willing. At some point in the back of their head, they knew something's going to have to be done about Israel. They've smeared you. They've called you anti-Semites. They've doxed you. They've put your name up on billboards. They've said you can't go to college. You can't get a job. They have kicked you out of country. They've banned you. They have, at every level, socially and politically, they have tried to destroy you for agreeing with a position that they all quietly held in their heads, which is that Israel is fucking insane. And they will bring about the end of the world unless something is done about them. Everyone knew it. The question is, now that the Republican Party is finally acknowledging this, are the Democrats going to as well? Are they going to pathetically follow in J.D. Vance's footsteps now that are they finally going to be brave enough to acknowledge the obvious fact that we have all known since the beginning, now that J.D. Vance has taken that first bold step? Or are they going to do what Schumer's doing right now and, like a coward, attack the details of the memorandum without suggesting a preferable alternative? Democrats will not be helping Trump send $300 billion to Iran. So it looks like among the groups trying to undermine the memorandum, we have Israel itself and Chuck Schumer. So that's cool. I mean, if the Republicans are smart, they could possibly leverage this into doing better in the midterms than expected. You know? The future from this moment does not look good. No, it does not. If the Republican Party is successful in running this pivot, they might be able to run away with 28. What is Chuck's problem? I think I might know. It's basically a June surprise. June surprise. Republicans finally wise up to the fact that there's no way of negotiating a settlement with Iran with Israel's consent. Are we witnessing the Republican Party now becoming the actual America First Party? And that was the day Trump finally became the president. Fucked up thing is we have to vote for them if they go anti-Israel and the Dems don't. I mean, the Zionists do represent like the apocalypse cult, man. If Democrats can't break free of them,